Hey everyone, Dave Shinsky at Baseball Rebellion. I'm going to do this week's pitching breakdown on Masahiro Tanaka. And he came on the scene in 2014. Had a really great year. He had 136 innings, 141 strikeouts with 21 base on balls. And this year he's been struggling, and I think I know why. This year thus far, he has 61 innings and 17 base on balls. His ERA is 6.34. And yeah, I just think that he's been in the league for now 4 years, and people are starting to figure him out just a little bit. That he was getting a lot of guys out with his split finger fastball and his off speed, so they're just making him throw a little bit more fastballs and making him pay by leaving him up in the zone. The reason why he leaves him up in the zone, and I'll show you, is mechanical and is fixable. But that's the point. I think that he's having a down year and a struggling the last four games is because he's leaving the ball up, and I'm going to tell you why. He actually pitches tonight, which is June 5th, Monday, June 5th. Against the Boston Red Sox, and I think I'm going to watch this game to see if I can see anything else that's going on with his mechanics. Okay, so we're going to start off with his movement down the hill, and I really like it. I do, but I think he could just be more efficient with his hips. So you watch his knee and his ankle. So I want you to watch his knee and ankle as he drives down the hill. It's basically just a knee drive. His hips never really get out there. I mean, they are moving with the knee and ankle, but not as much as you can see the knee go right away. That's what I think the first thing that I noticed about his movement, and which is going to lead him to just inefficiencies later on. So again, you can see that his shoulders also stay very parallel to the ground. I would think about his shoulders being a little bit more on like an upward angle if he were to be driving this hip and ankle a little bit better. But in any way, he hooks the ball. And he gets, I would say, not a very efficient arm swing. I teach here that I've been telling kids to trace their back leg. So if he were to think about the ball coming out of his glove, he's going to trace that back leg and just let that arm swing happen a little bit more natural, instead of kind of placing the ball down here and hooking the ball just a little bit. The reason why I don't agree with this kind of mechanics, and again, you see a lot of Japanese guys use this type of this hook and hike deal where they place that ball down and seem like they're hiding it, and then they come up really strong with their elbow and try to time up that arm lift into 90 degrees into foot strike, and it's really hard. It's really hard to think about not being natural when it comes to that arm swing. So again, I would tell Tanaka to just, as he breaks his hands, to just be a little bit more out in front of his body and trace that front thigh of his to create a better arm swing and an arm path. Okay, so into foot strike and after foot strike is the big ordeal that I'm seeing. All right, so into foot strike, you see how he gets really low in his stride. Again, he has like one of the biggest strides or longest strides for how tall he is, and I think he might be just overstriding a little bit, just due to the next fact. He also doesn't seem to get the ball up to 90 every time, so a little bit of inconsistencies there. Again, he's a split finger guy, so when he relied on his split finger, he was new into the onto the scene, and I mean, his mechanics are repeatable. His four-seam fastball and his splitter look identical. If you watch Sports Science, they break it down. But again, as the hitters are getting more and more, obviously, video and watching Tanaka, they can see that when he does throw his off speed, they're usually for balls. They're down in the zone. He's trying to get them to swing, so they're paying attention to that now. Okay, so as he starts to move forward, now the ball is 90 degrees, but he's very, very forward with his spine angle. He's almost opening up his whole torso, his whole belly here, so he's not really getting any drive from that back leg. Now you see the knee start to open up and hips start to open up, but again, his head starts to pull off towards the dugout. And one thing that I always talk to my guys about is this is using your hips correctly. Okay, so using your hips correctly to brace up your front leg. You can see as he is into the ground here, how many frames? 1, 2, 3. Stops there, and then his knee kind of keeps going. So for about 3 frames, his knee is moving forward towards the target. And what I see with not bracing up that front leg properly is a loss in velo for sure, and a flattening out of the ball. So again, for how far he is striding out, think about where he's releasing the ball. That's more on a straight line instead of a downward plane. So again, I think that he's just leaving balls up, and guys are punishing him. And this is the reason why, is because that knee leaks forward just for three or 4 frames, and he never really braces up and gets through that. Now at the end, he braces up, and I see a lot of Japanese guys doing this as well. Is at the end they kind of come up out of that move, out of their delivery, just so they're ready to get a ground ball. But again, I saw an interesting stat here that in 2016, which he had a pretty good year, Tanaka threw 190 fastballs in the whole year, and guys batted 250 off him. This year, he has thrown 206 fastballs already, and they're hitting 356 off of them. So off of those fastballs. So again, it's telling me that they are laying off his splitter and off speed and breaking balls to wait for those fastballs and making him throw more of them more often. So again, this is the reason why I think Tanaka is struggling, and we'll see tonight. I'm going to watch the game and see if this is happening more and more, or if he kind of makes a transition and learns to finish better. But either way, this has been Dave Shinsky for Baseball Rebellions Pitching Breakdown. Thanks a lot.